So let's talk about Kel'el Ware because right now, in my opinion, I have no idea what the Heat are doing. I understand that he's a rookie, that Miami has their own process when it comes to developing their players, and they are really good at it. I'm not going to lie. But at the same time, Jimmy Butler is going to be a free agent this offseason. He might leave and you might not get nothing in return. So if you're looking at it from that vantage point, you come into this regular season, you got a rookie who showcased a lot of potential. We saw him ball out in the summer league. We saw him play really well in the preseason games. And you're thinking to yourself, okay, if we can play him next to Bam Adebayo, move Bam to the 4 so he can focus on switching 1 through 4 and not have to, protect the rim and guard 1 through 5, that might take a burden off of him and give Ware experience. But what has happened the first 13 games of this regular season? He's appeared in 7 games and he's averaging 6 minutes a night. I'm not going to lie. I thought he was a sleeper for Rookie of the Year because I thought he was that good in the summer league and that good in the preseason because I saw his rim protection. I saw his recovery on defense. He had good hands. He's really good at the pick and roll actions where you get off the ball, go for the lob dunks. And he was consistent. That's the key word. Consistency was in Ware's game. He would grab rebounds, block shots, score at the rim. And I'm thinking to myself, let's see what he has. But Miami hasn't played him much at all. And it doesn't make sense, especially when you're a team where you have a Jimmy Butler who has rumors about possibly trading him. And if he leaves this offseason, you get nothing in return. Now you have to develop Ware even more because you want to keep Bam Adebayo happy. You don't want to just go into the next season and go, okay, we don't know where we're going. And Bam's going, I didn't sign up for this. I signed my contract extension and I want to be in Miami. And you're going to put this all on my plate. But I got a guy in Kel'el Ware who I can help mentor. I'm sure he's doing that. But it's different mentoring somebody on the bench than mentoring somebody when you're playing alongside each other. Let me give another good example. Anthony Black for Orlando Magic. What is Orlando doing with him? They're actually giving him a lot of minutes. And he appeared in 69 games last year. He's coming off the bench this season. He had one of his best games last night. He had 20 points, 9 assists, and 4 rebounds. And he's a young cat. And the reason why Orlando is playing him so much because they need to figure out the point guard situation. What can Miami do right now? Figure out their front court. You play Ware next to Bam. You give him reps. You give him experience. All of a sudden, you might have something really special there. I'm not saying he's going to be an all-star player, but what I'm saying is if you have 2 guys who can guard the paint and give you good rim protection, now you just filter out the rest of the roster and go, okay, let's figure out our next step here. Let's figure out the superstar you want to add. Because if Jimmy's going to walk or if we're going to trade Jimmy, we can build around Bam and Kel'el Ware. But if you don't give him any playing time and you go into next season and let's just say his confidence is ruined or he doesn't think he's good enough, all of a sudden you're like, what were you doing this whole time with Kel'el Ware? Develop him. Let him play. Give him minutes. Another good example is Cater for the Celtics. Porzingis is out right now, and the Celtics are expected to go back-to-back this season. And Keita is getting a lot of playing time. Has he been perfect for the Celtics? No. He hasn't been really good always at protecting the rim. People have been getting to the paint against Boston and scoring at will. But Keita is getting experience. That is the key word here. And yes, he's going to fail. He's going to mess up. He's missed some lob dunks. He's missed some easy baskets at the rim. However, I guarantee that Keita is gaining a ton of experience and value playing alongside next to Al Horford. Because if Boston just say, you know what, let's play Tillman more, let's play Cornette, and let's play Al Horford. Let's run them to the ground. Us Boston fans are going to go, what are you doing here? Because you have Keita who showcased some potential, and then they didn't play him as much after December of 2023, but he got that experience, and now they're giving him a bigger role. Why? Because Horford is likely to retire this summer. Porzingis is not durable enough. So Boston's thinking, okay, we got to make sure we have a backup plan in case Porzingis continues to get hurt and we have to move in a different direction. So if I'm the Heat right now, give Ware more playing time. Even if he comes off the bench, let him play 20 minutes next to Bam. See what that looks like. Continue to develop him. I know it's great that you're learning the process in Miami, the Heat culture. I know that works. But at the same time, you got to get him on the basketball court. He should be playing 15, 20 minutes a night, in my opinion. Why not? What do you got to lose here? If you're trying to be a championship contender, I understand that. But do we really believe Miami is going to be a championship contender? I don't know right now, especially with Jimmy Butler. He has started off slow. I know they had a really good night against the Sixers last night, but there hasn't been any consistency with Jimmy. Tyler Hero has looked really good. However, I just think right now, Miami should be doing some development where they have Ware in the lineup so he can get experience with Bam. And imagine like by February, where Ware is settled in, he's being consistent out there, and now you have a really dangerous front court. And let's just say they trade Jimmy Butler for some draft picks, they get some capital for next year's draft because it's a deep draft class. All of a sudden, you develop Bam and Ware, and you find a superstar in the draft because Miami's been really good at drafting players. It's got to land that superstar. All of a sudden, you got some potential here. You got something to look forward to. So I'm just annoyed because I would love to see Ware out there. I thought he was going to be a sleeper for rookie of the year. I thought he was that good and he could elevate his game to that type of level. But right now, Miami's saying, hey, we're going to be patient with him. We're still developing him, and eventually he'll get out there. But when you're looking around the league, you see Boston playing Caden more. He's getting more experience. You see Anthony Black from Orlando getting a bigger role, and he's continuing to develop his game. And I'm like, Miami, just play Ware. See what he has out there. You have nothing to lose here. If he stumbles and fall, cool. He needs to fail out there, because if you slow down this process and he goes into his sophomore season and he finally gets more playing time and he goes through those growing pains, I'm like, you could have done this last season. So that's my take on this. I just think Miami should be focusing on development right now with Kel'el Ware. Let him play next to Bam Adebayo. So Bam can play the four. You can see what that looks like. And if you got a really good front court and you got flashes of potential, now you're like, okay, we got our front court figured out, because Miami could use some more beef up front. And if you have Ware and Bam settled in together and they build that chemistry, because it's all about building together. You have to build that chemistry on the basketball court, not just off the court. If that gets developed, all of a sudden, Miami's got something to look forward to. But if you let him sit on the bench and you're saying, you know what, he's still in development, he's got to go through the process. Okay, cool. But eventually, I'm thinking, if I'm a Miami Heat fan, I'm like, I want to see this guy on the basketball court. I want to see what he can do. You see, when you have a rookie, you got to at least let him play, especially when he has showcased some skills and has been really consistent. It's not like Ware was a scrub in the summer league. He was one of their best players. He was a standout rookie. Then you saw in the preseason, he was out there scoring, blocking shots, and being consistent. That's all you want. And he was doing it like 25, 30 minutes a night. That's the scary part. So for me, I don't understand this right now. Heat fans, I'd love to hear from you guys, because I've been annoyed by it, because I don't get why you don't have a guy in Kel'el Ware out there next to Bam, see what you got going on. And if it turns into something, that's a W. But here's what could happen. Let's say they don't trade Jimmy Butler. He walks this offseason. Now Bam's out there like, okay, what are you guys going to do for me? I'm here and Jimmy's gone. And you have Ware, and let's just say it just doesn't work out because Bam's unhappy. Now all of a sudden, you look even worse here. So that's my only concern. I think Miami is really good, again, at developing players, having the right culture. But I think for Miami, they need to move in a different direction here. Develop Ware, let him play next to Bam, see what that looks like, and then reevaluate the roster, because this is not a championship level team, in my opinion. I think they need to consider moving off of Jimmy Butler at some point, because you don't want him walking for nothing. Get some draft picks, get something in return, because if he walks and you get nothing, that's not a good look, in my opinion.